OpenAI made good on its promise to release a new open source models, releasing what it named GPT-OSS, its first open weight model in over 6 years. Totally free to download, and it runs locally even on a laptop. There are two versions of GPT's open source open weights model: a 120 billion parameter model that runs on a single NVIDIA GPU, and a smaller 20 billion parameter model that works with just 16 gigabytes of memory. And I'm sure developers will be really intrigued by what they can build on top of these in a local environment. Performance-wise, the larger model, they say, is comparable roughly to O4 Mini, and the smaller one holds its own next to O3 Mini. GPT-OSS can reason, write code, browse the web, and even operate agents using OpenAI's APIs. This is a pretty big shift from OpenAI's initial stance was a lot of open source. That was really where they were headed. But then Sam Altman has been out saying there's just too many safety risks with having an open weight, open source model. They can't put some of the constraints and guardrails around the model that they can when they keep it closed source and keep it in-house, and they can add those on top of the core model. But as we saw developers just flocking to rivals like DeepSeek, Meta's Llama, and some of these other models that are out there, OpenAI admitted it had been, quote, on the wrong side of history and decided to jump back in because it's been rigorously tested and it's their safest model yet with built-in transparency features like visible reasoning. But it is an interesting thing to see them switching from, hey, open source seems to be a kind of dangerous path to, hey, there's a lot of open source out there. Maybe we should be in that game. I really think OpenAI is stuck in a tough spot determining whether they want to be an API-driven company focused on powering developers building AI-powered applications, or whether they're really going to lean into the ChatGPT accidental consumer product that's really taken the world by storm. It feels like their opportunity is really behind ChatGPT. So the open source may be an easy way for them to put a model out there, be in the game. They don't have to host it, but it is interesting to see them in that game where I think their real huge opportunity really lies in making ChatGPT the dominant consumer interface for AI. And so it'll be interesting to see how much they invest in that open source models versus really leaning into their consumer experience.